you guys do realize that like there's like a 50-50 chance that this reaction will never be seen on YouTube, right? Hey everybody, my name is Old School Nerd. One of you out there wanted me to react to the new song from Shinedown called Daylight. It's an inspirational song about overcoming the world and helping others. And I know I say love one another, take care of each other. We're all stuck on this mud ball together. I've been saying that for like a year and a half now, just because one day I said it and everyone went, hey, that was pretty cool. So I just kept saying it. This song reminded one of my Patreon members, one of you out there, one of my friends, one of my community members, Michael, to say, dude, you need to react to this song. It's literally that phrase, but in music form, done by Shinedown. Now, a lot of you love Shinedown, and Shinedown's done some amazing music. Unfortunately, for those of us in the YouTube community as reactors, it's very difficult to do reactions to Shinedown. Nothing against Shinedown, but like a lot of other bands in the United States, American labels have struggles with anything that is reactionary on any social media, and distributors can have a tendency to block things. In fact, the last time I did a Shinedown reaction, I don't even think it ever made it to YouTube. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. All right. Try not to get emotional already because I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, this looks intense. So let's get into it. You ready? This is Shinedown, Daylight. From me to all of you. Let's go.
Had to tell the ones I love I was on the ropes. I'm not the only one whose life's been pulled apart. Spending 1 year and 3 months in the dark. So here we are, all dressed to kill. Where should we go? Into the wild again to face the great unknown. And have the midnight conversations you and I postpone. You saved my life, not once but twice. You keep me free from falling. You saved my life, make it all alright. I don't feel like talking. You make sure I always see the daylight. It's amazing what the hard times can reveal. Like who shows up, who walks away, and who's for real. So take me on, I'll take the wheel, and we can both outrun the past. We will always live forever if we don't look back. You saved my life.
A lot of bands since COVID, especially during COVID, the last 3 or 4 years, a lot of bands are coming out with those reflective songs. And a lot of bands like Shinedown, Disturbed, a lot of American rock bands in the last 10, 15 years have had long, storied careers, a lot of success, and they meet a lot of amazing people on the road, fans. And when they meet these people, you can't help but be touched by some of the stories. A lot of these bands do a lot of songs, and some of these songs connect to listeners in a way that helps them through troubled times. And I know Shinedown is one of those bands. Five Finger Death Punch is one of those bands, especially for veterans. Disturbed has a lot of songs like that. And we all know about like Three Doors Down and Nickelback. And although a lot of these bands have a tendency to have a little bit of shade thrown on them from the metal community, because it's commercial and there's different things involved in it. There are bands that are more radio play version versus metal bands, and when you're a music fan, whether it be rock music, metal music, folk music, whether you like a band or not, there's a lot of bands that have a massive amounts of success. Sometimes you might not like the band for just different parts of things you hear about, but these bands are on the road year after year after year. I mean, Shinedown's been on the road as a staple of American rock, in that genre of American rock, for 20 years. I mean, they've kind of held the banner up with bands like Five Finger Death Punch and Disturbed and the ones I mentioned before. But as they meet people, can't help but reach out. You can't help but be impacted by the stories. Like just a YouTube channel. I'm just a simple little YouTube channel from the middle of nowhere, Lafayette, Louisiana. And the people that have come up to me and said, "Hey, Old School Nerd, this reaction you did to this song connected with me, helped me through a rough time." And I'm like, what? You don't realize the impact you can make on people's lives. And these bands do get it. Because every time they go up to one of these shows, I cannot tell you, how many times have you seen a video of Garth Brooks? How many videos of Garth Brooks are there when he's playing one of his concerts somewhere in the middle of whatever, and there's someone out there that's like, "I'm cancer free. Thank you for getting me through it." How many times have you seen Garth Brooks or any number of these bands be traveling and touring, stop an entire concert to connect with that person and say, "You're welcome, thank you," and there's a connection there. Shinedown is one of those bands. They've always been one of those bands because a lot of their music is self-reflective. A lot of their music is about overcoming tragedy, overcoming loss, overcoming disparaging circumstances. People connect to that. Now, there are some people that don't like Shinedown. Whatever. But there are people that absolutely love them. You can say the same thing about Disturbed, Five Finger Death Punch, or any band. Remember, all of these bands are people too. They're humans. One thing that I've learned in meeting a lot of these bands you see on this wall, they're just people like you and me. The only difference is their art that they love and they're passionate about just so happens to connect with people on a level that they now share their music openly in the public with people around the world. But their struggles as people are the same as all of us. So they do connect. And they are people too. So when they make songs like this, it connects. You can go out in front of 5,000, 6,000 people and tell them all to put up their phones, and people are going to do it. Remember when we did the reaction to Hold On to the Memories? Remember how much that literally gutted us to see that? Because we just cried. It's a song of loss. When we see the band Asleep at the Helm from the UK, an independent band, a young up-and-coming independent band, do a song about loss, and all their fans sent pictures to the band so the band could hang those pictures of people and pets and persons that they lost in the last few years. And the band hung them in the room and did a video. And they're a small independent band from the UK, and they're giving back to their fans. Music connects people emotionally in a way that other media doesn't. You don't see Netflix shows and TV shows taking the time to do something that's fan-censored oriented because it's different. Music has a way of reaching the soul. Music has a way of uplifting the soul. Music has a way of healing the soul in a way that other media doesn't. So I could see why people love this song and people love this band. I'm just honored to be able to react to it. Now, whether or not you see that or not up to me. That's another video we got to make some other time. But right now, I'm just going to press play. Let's finish this out. For all of you Shinedown fans out there, I hear you. They're an amazing band. They've been an amazing band for 20 years. There's a couple of their songs that I absolutely love. And there's some that I don't really care for. But that's every band. And I wish I could do more reactions to Shinedown. Unfortunately, I think all of you know by now that as an American rock band, it's not as easy as it sounds for a YouTube reactor. And with that, I'm going to shut up and press play. Let's enjoy the rest of this together.
Not once but twice, you keep me free from falling. You saved my life, make it all alright. When I don't feel like talking, you make sure I always see the daylight.
This is what I'm talking about. That right there. That's what I'm talking about.
It's amazing what the hard times can reveal. Like who shows up, who walks away, and who's for real. It's amazing what the hard times can reveal. Like who shows up, who walks away, and who's for real.
Wow, that's a lot.
You saved my life, not once but twice. You keep me free from falling. You saved my life, make it all alright. When I don't feel like talking, you make sure I always see the daylight.
Okay. It's pretty cool. They did the tour dates and everything. Let me go through something real quick about this, okay? The song is about cancer survival, cancer patients, and beating cancer, and that's always something that's on the forefront of a lot of different artists' minds. It's more than that. It's overcoming any setback, and that's part of the whole mystique of the song. It's awesome that Shinedown does this for their audience. But here's the thing. I just want to make sure you guys understand this. It goes two ways. These bands need your support, not just in album sales and buying tickets. Sometimes thank you for helping us. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for your music. Those little affirmations that these artists get from just everyday people like you and me mean more than you even know. If one thing I've learned this last year in meeting some of these bands, I can tell you three things right off the bat. Sabaton, when I saw them in Houston. When I tell you the young people that showed up to that concert just blessed Per and Joachim and Tommy and Chris and Mr. Vandal. Beyond all belief when you see these young people get inspired by these rock stars from Sweden. Malevolence came down to Austin, and they're just guys who sat after the show when they opened up for Ginger and stayed behind until every piece of merch was signed, every picture was taken, every fist was bumped, and every hug was given. Because that means something to them. When we hung out with Bloodywood, and Bloodywood says, we got to get back on the road. We've got a 6-hour drive to catch a flight to go home. And they still stayed behind for 2 hours to meet with every single person for that Bloodywood show in Dallas. These things do happen. For all of you who are blessed by the music that bands like Shinedown, Bloodywood, Sabaton, Malevolence, Disturbed, you know, pick the band, Five Finger Death Punch. Pick the band. All of your words and thank yous and cards and signs that you hold up mean just as much as for them as it does to you. These little things, these little interactions you see in these pictures, it really, really means something. sometimes you take for granted that these quote unquote rock stars are just people. My name is Old School Nerd. It's a beautiful song and a beautiful video. As we enter into 2023, if you get a chance to say thank you to an artist because something that they did connected and made your day a little bit better, or something as big as helping support you through a cancer diagnosis and a battle for your life that you won. And some we don't win those fights, but those fights are sometimes just as much emotional and mental as they are physical. And certain inspirational songs like this one from Shinedown may help future patients of cancer beat that fight. And for those guys are heroes, just as much as anything else we do. And that's a good thing. All right, well, that's my reaction to Shinedown Daylight. Of course, I knew this was going to be something because when my friend Michael said, hey, could you react to this one? It's a beautiful song, and it kind of reminds me of your little motto you give. My little motto is just for being silly because we're all just struggling with life post-COVID and during COVID together. What these guys are doing is touching lives on a large scale. And if you're a fan of Shinedown, make sure you tell them thank you if you get a chance. They deserve it. Love one another. Take care of each other. We're all stuck on this mobile together. We'll see you later. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like. It really helps the channel grow. Also, if you want to subscribe, right there. Big thank you to all my Patreons out there. We appreciate everything you do. If you want more content like this video, check them out above. Remember, love one another. Take care of each other. We're all stuck on this mud ball together. We'll see you later.